The National Football League is a $20 billion juggernaut. It's by far the richest professional sports league and the most popular, where $35 billion are wagered on the results of its games annually. The NFL's players are many of the biggest, strongest, fastest, and most gifted athletes in the world, whose sport requires them to launch their bodies at each other like human missiles, sometimes in sub-zero temperatures. In no other major team sport do participants risk their physical and mental health to such a degree. And the games get decided by a high school trigonometry teacher in a helmet. Kickers. Specialists who at best look like they're qualified to teach a spin class. Kickers, who sit on the bench all game scratching themselves until they're called upon to decide the outcomes of the most popular, gambled on, and physically taxing team sport. Listen, NFL kickers' dedication to their craft is impressive. Their specialization in this very specific skill of kicking the ball through the uprights under very intense pressure is commendable. In fact, kickers have never been better at their job in history. But these grocery baggers shouldn't be deciding games. Kicks during NFL games are so important that, at the very least, it should be an offensive player taking them. Someone in the trenches, someone who sacrifices their mind and body during actual live gameplay. You know, an actual football player. This is something rugby gets right, where it's the guys locking arms in the scrums and running around hitting people that take the game-deciding kicks. Imagine if in professional basketball, all of the free throws were shot by a specialist off the bench who never played during live action. A 5'6", 120-pound guy, who undoubtedly would be an exceptional foul shooter, but never had to box out Giannis or get switched onto LeBron James. 7-foot-tall Adonis athletes would battle for 48 minutes on the court, and then with 5 seconds left, in comes Neil Dinkins, a former day manager at Kinko's, to decide the game. Neil would probably make over 95% of his free throws. He would be better than anyone else on the court, truly exceptional at that specialized skill. But for God's sakes, he shouldn't be deciding the outcome of professional games. Sorry, Neil, you can decide the outcome of your weekly men's league game at the YMCA, or when Kinko's plays Office Depot in intramurals. Anyways, the word-rich word of the week is beleaguered. Beleaguered is an adjective, but can also be a verb, to beleaguer. The primary definition of beleaguer means to be plagued or burdened with difficulties, challenges, or pressure, to be in a very difficult situation. For example, the beleaguered company struggled to survive amidst mountain debts. Beleaguered also can refer to being surrounded and under attack, physically or metaphorically. For example, the beleaguered city held out against the siege for weeks. Kicker in American football is the most beleaguered position in professional sports. Here are some synonyms, and there are some great ones: besieged, harassed, troubled, overwhelmed, pressured, encircled, tormented, plagued, and embattled. Beleaguer comes from the Dutch word belegeren, meaning to besiege. The term entered English in the late 16th century, originally used in military contexts to describe a city or fortress under siege. Its figurative use developed later to describe people or organizations facing persistent difficulties. Examples of beleaguered in sentences are, the beleaguered residents of the war-torn region pleaded for international aid. After the scandal broke, the politician became beleaguered by criticism from all sides. The once thriving business is now beleaguered by financial troubles and legal disputes. The coach tried to rally the beleaguered team after a string of humiliating defeats. And finally, environmental activists came to the aid of the beleaguered forest threatened by illegal logging. Reviewing the top uses of beleaguer, you can see the word conveys a sense of persistent challenges or overwhelming pressure, whether in physical, emotional, or metaphorical contexts. It often implies a sense of being cornered or surrounded with little respite, making it effective for dramatic or empathetic descriptions. The term is frequently used in news articles, literature, and speeches to evoke sympathy or highlight struggle. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching.